to the throne of the flourishing empire was Charles's son, Wenceslas IV, whose father had prepared him for this moment all his life. But Wenceslas did not father. He neglected affairs of state for more frivolous pursuits. He even failed to turn up for his own coronation as emperor, which did little to endear him to the Pope. Wenceslas the Idle did not impress the imperial nobility either. His difficulties mounted until the nobles, exasperated by the inaction of their ruler, turned for help to his half-brother, King Sigismund of Hungary. Sigismund decided on a radical solution. He kidnapped the king to force him to abdicate, then took advantage of the ensuing disorder to gain greater power for himself. He invaded Bohemia with a massive army and began pillaging the territories of the king's allies. It is here that my story begins.
Ale! Welcome, Henry. One ale, please.
What? Are you volunteering to get your head smashed in?
Calm down. I don't want any trouble.
Then get lost. What?
That's right.
No, kurwa! Bugger!
A tankard here.
I'll bring it right away. My pleasure.
Am I invisible? Over here, a beer.
Got it for you right here. What the hell are you doing?
Good health to you.
Certainly. I'll fetch it right away.
You wouldn't be Carl by any chance?
Give me a minute.
No.
Jesus Christ be praised.
You wouldn't be Carl by any chance?
God be with you.
You wouldn't be Carl by any chance?
No.
What?
Calm down.
Then get...
God be with you.
You wouldn't be Carl.
No.
Here we are. I've only got 2 hands.
Jesus Christ be praised.
To the women.
You wouldn't be Carl by any chance?
No.
Good day to you. What do you need?
You wouldn't be Carl by any chance?
No.
Jesus Christ be praised.
Are you Carl by any chance?
I am. Why do you ask?
I've heard that you're bound for the monastery.
Yes. Yes, it's true. But I've convinced my faithful guardian, Manfred, to give me a few more days of freedom. Mind you, he won't let me visit the brothel, so instead I'm devoting those days to the demon drink. With whom do I have the honor of speaking?
My name is Henry.
Pleased to meet you, Henry.
Could we speak in private?
Really? Well, I'd love to talk about it, but we won't have privacy as long as Manfred here has his head permanently stuck up my arse. Get rid of him.
What the hell?
I'll be right back to that.
You're Manfred, the young lord's guardian?
Indeed I am. Why?
One beer.
Would you let us have a word in private for a moment?
I would not. If I put my guard down for a second, he'll be gone. I have to keep my eye on him.
You must have a mighty thirst. Waiting here with him for days, just watching him get drunk, and not having a sip yourself.
There's no doubt I'd enjoy a drink. Heaven knows I deserve it. But if I dull my senses in the slightest, that rogue will surely get up to mischief.
So let's drink together. And if you start to feel unwell, I'll keep an eye on him. Like you said, you deserve some fun.
I can see you're a reliable lad. So what shall we have to drink? And while we're at it...
Ale for me.
Ale as usual.
God save you, Henry.
That's it. Oh, no!
My pleasure.
One beer for me.
Coming.
Ale for me.
Coming right up. Here we are.
This'll be the one. That's it.
There. Satisfied?
That's it.
The best of all.
We'll see.
Coming.
I don't believe it.
Bottoms up. All the best.
That'll do me.
I'd like a beer.
We'll see. We'll see.
Got it for you right here.
Pour me one.
I've only got two.
One beer for me.
Look where you're going.
Manfred's taken care of, just as you wanted.
Thank God! He won't let me out of his sight for a second, and he's itching to get me in the monastery so he can head back home.
I'll have a beer.
Why are you being sent to the monastery?
Like every lusty young lad, I'm fond of fair maidens, but I got too fond of one, and let's just say she was, indisposed for 9 months.
But they don't send you to the monastery for that.
They do, when it's the daughter of the Lord of your fief.
Shit.
Shit is putting it mildly. The Lord of Bookover was less than pleased. He knows he'll never marry off his daughter now, so he gave father a choice. Either pay him 1,000 groschen in compensation, along with my balls on a silver platter, or pay 1,000 groschen and put me away somewhere no one will ever see me again.
Why does your guardian never leave your side?
So I don't run away. Of course, I'm free to walk around, but he watches every step I take and won't stop until I'm behind the monastery walls.
Well, he's not watching you now.
What good is that to me when he has all the money, and even my saddle and riding cloak under lock and key?
Cheers.
Why don't you just run away?
Bare-arsed.
Here
What
we
the hell
are.
would I do? I don't know how to work, I have no money, and that old bastard's even taken my cloak. He has me in the palm of his hand.
But there are poor people everywhere and they get by somehow.
If I have to choose between hunger and poverty on one hand and the monastic life on the other, I'm afraid the monastery wins. If I could only steal that old man's pouch, I'd be gone faster than lightning and no one would ever see me again.
What if I entered the monastery instead of you?
What? Voluntarily? You don't look like someone who'd want to spend the rest of his
Coming right
days on
up.
his knees praying. But that's your problem. You can only enter the monastery if you know how to read and write, and if you have a special writ from the abbot. That's a letter confirming they know who you are and that they've accepted you.
So you give me your writ? I'll just tell them I'm you.
Manfred has the writ. You'd have to take it from him, but he only puts it down when he sleeps.
So I'll steal it and then you can disappear.
Disappear? Bare-arsed. What the hell would I do? I don't know how to work, I have no money, and that old bastard's even taken my cloak. He has...
But there are poor people everywhere and they get...
If I have to choose between hunger and poverty on one hand...
One ale over here, please.
That's all then.
As you wish.
Pour me an ale.
Ugh! Hey! Here you are. Good help.
I'll have a beer.
Here we are. I'll be right back with that. Here. Enjoy it. Here you are.
Jesus! I see a thief! Guard! Come here quick! There's a thief over there! Help!
Who's there? I'm
Quick! Everyone! Come here! Here! Help!
Hey, there's fellows
Help!
each other over there.
Here!
Do something about it. They're brawling there.
Somebody help!
Hey, there's fellows beating each other over there. Do
Don't
something
let him
about
run
it.
away.
Guards, help! Stop
here
that
quick.
brawl before they beat each other to death. Hey! There's fellows beating each other over there. Do something about it. Guard! Do something quick! They're brawling there.
Somebody help!
Guard!
Help! Here! Come here quick! Alarm! You there!
Crashing each
Stop!
other there. Stop them!
Surrender! You've committed
Help!
a crime,
There's
and
a
I'm
brawl
arresting
there. Pull them off each
you.
other.
Fuck! Yebas! So it's you! You were seen starting a brawl. This definitely won't come cheap. You'll learn. Crime doesn't pay.
Oh well, what can I do?
You've paid for your crimes. I hope you've learned your lesson. And since I trust you as much as I trust, well... Where the hell were you brought up? Don't you know you have to have a light after dark?
Be a bit more careful.
What is it?
As you wish.
I'd like beer.
Here. As you wish.
Ale for me. Ale is useless. Pour me one.
Just as...
I'm hungry. I'd like a bite to eat.
Here we
Bottoms
are.
up. Here's to a good harvest.
Here we are.
No! Clear off! Let me sleep.
Here. Enjoy it.
just burn that shit right now, but 내 집은 보이는 데 좋아해.
Beat it!
I'm Carl. I'm supposed to enter as a novice.
We expected you sooner. Weren't you supposed to come here with your guardian? It's been so hectic lately, people will keep turning up out of the blue.
He gave me the papers and left me at the gate. You must be used to that, though. I'm not the first novice here, am I?
But that wasn't very considerate of him, was it? It's been so hectic here lately, novices arriving one after the other. The last one didn't even have a letter, and you'd think his backside was on fire, the way he kept looking over his shoulder.
You took him without the letter? You didn't find that suspicious?
My guess is he wanted to hide from someone, but he's a priest and knows how things work in the monastery, so there was nothing to prevent him from being accepted, at least temporarily. You're a different case, though. Are you able to read?
Naturally. I wouldn't be here otherwise.
So then, are you ready to enter the Order of Saint Benedict and renounce forever the temptations of this world?
I am.
Then you must rid yourself of all your worldly possessions. Sell them or give them to the poor and needy or donate them to the monastery. You may not enter this place burdened by worldly goods. Inside the gatehouse is a trunk in which you will find monk's robes. Put away all your possessions and dress yourself in the habit. Then you may rest a while I go and see the prior to arrange matters for your acceptance. Do something, my God, over there!
Hey, you! Halt! Surrender! You've committed a... Now I'll teach you who should have thought...
Damn it.
You've...
I feel quite hungry. Strange feeling being without all of that. I didn't realise how much I'd grown used to it.
Everything's prepared. It's time for you to take your vows.
Do I really have to wear this?
You'd better get used to it. You'll be wearing it for the rest of your life.
brothers in Christ, we have gathered here today to welcome a new novice into our midst. Dear brother, forget your former life and embrace your new vocation in the community of the monks of St. Benedict. Opus Dei, obedientia, obprobria, the service of God, obedience, and endurance of all discomfort. These are the cornerstones and succor of our order, which on this day shall become your own. Suscipe me, Domine, secundum eloquium tuum, et vivam, et non confundas me ab expectatione mea.
Suscipe me, Domine, secundum in loquium tuum vivam, et non confundas me ab expectatione mea.
Accept your new name, Brother Gregor, and wear it with honor. Welcome, brother.
Welcome, brother. I am Antonius, a novice like you. I've been instructed to guide you around the monastery and tell you what you can expect and what your duties will be.
Thanks for helping me out during the ceremony. I had no idea what I was supposed to do.
You don't know Latin, do you? Don't worry. Work in the scriptorium will teach you fast enough. Why exactly are you here? Was it your choice? Or did someone force you to come?
I'm being punished. If it were up to me, I'd still be spending my days in taverns and my nights with whores.
I don't envy you. Unfortunately, you're here for the rest of your life.
Would you tell me something about yourself?
I'm a novice and I'm here because I'd make a poor merchant. I like books and I want an education. Although I must say, so far the monastic life's been quite unexpected.
Let's go then.
Good. But before we do, here's a letter directly from the prior telling you all your regular duties from tomorrow onwards. Make sure to read it this evening, so you know how things work. Right, we can go now. Follow me closely. I'll explain everything as we go. Remember one word: discipline. It's your job to work and pray. You serve the Lord now, not your own bodily needs. God be with you. His health is deteriorating. They say he won't make it to the autumn.
No, Peter has a strong constitution. He'll still be on this.
This is the way to the dormitory, where we all sleep. You'll find a free bed there, which is now yours. Do you know the first thing the monastery taught me? To appreciate sleep. We rise before dawn every day. Takes a bit of getting used to. This is the garden, a place for silent contemplation and meditation. Centuries ago, this monastery was founded by the most esteemed of brothers, Saint Procopius. His earthly remains can be found in a cave under the monastery, and his spirit wanders the corridors at night, punishing any misbehaving novices. So beware.
Here are the frattery and scriptorium, together with the library. These are the places where we work. Ora et labora. Pray and work.
As a novice, you must always listen to your superior brethren, and above us monks are the prior and the circators, who punish every infraction. You'll know them by the canes they carry. Do what they say. This is the refectory, where we come together to eat. During meals, you must be silent. Only one brother reads aloud from the Rule of Saint Benedict.
The Rule is the only law we recognize, with the exception of those from God himself. If you break any of its precepts, expect a swift punishment. But I've already told you about the circuitors. The library, the pride of our monastery, a trove of learning. We don't just read books here, we also copy them. You, too, will learn how. And that's all. Today you are still free from duty, but tomorrow you begin work like the others. If you need anything, ask any of the brothers. We'll be glad to help you. And I recommend you get to know the other novices. You already know me. Then there is Siskin, Yodok, and Lucas.
Thanks for showing me around. There's a lot to learn here. Will you tell me something about you?
There's not much to tell. I lived in Vlashim, and after my father died, I found out I wasn't much of a merchant. So I left the shop to my brother. It's peaceful here. There's food.
So you chose to come here?
It may seem strange, but I'm one of the few novices that did. I might be the only one. The truth is, the idea of spending my life in a monastery was more appealing.
It occurred to me you might be the man to ask. I'm looking for some lockpicks. Do you know anyone in the monastery who could help me?
Lockpicks? You surprise me, brother. And you, a nobleman's son. But you could ask Brother Celerius. They say he used to be a thief.
I need to make a confession.
I'm no priest, but tell me what you've done. It's probably nothing to worry about.
I'm here in the monastery looking for a thief. He had a hand in burning down the Neuhof stud.
You don't say. And who are you to take such an interest?
Someone whose job it is to investigate the case, find the perpetrators and make sure they get the punishment they deserve.
Punishment? Do you intend to punish them here, in the monastery?
I don't know yet. I'm still just on their trail. Perhaps you could help me find him?
The missing thief? If I knew anything, I'd tell you, but I suppose it must be one of the novices. I've only recently heard about the Neuhof incident, and all the other brethren have been here much longer than that.
I know. Aside from me, there are only 4 novices, but still I don't know which one he could be.
3? Please, leave me out of it. And you're right that it could be any one of them. No one knows anything about Lucas. Siskin might be a lot of things, but a monk isn't one of them. And Yodok is a slimy worm. It wouldn't surprise me if he was behind that massacre. Actually, the more I think about it, the less I like that Yodok. He's a treacherous rat who'd do anything to get in someone's good books. The thought of Yodok at Neuhof sends chills up my spine.
Maybe you're right. It's not a pretty thought.
Don't fret, my friend.
I'd like to ask you Who's in charge of things around here?
Truthfully, Everyone except us. But officially, Abbot Peter. And soon enough, someone else.
I see. Are there any rifts between the brothers?
Yes. From the moment talk began about electing a new abbot, it's been like a hornet's nest here. Strange you have...
Tell me something about electing the abbot.
Abbot Peter is old. When he dies, they'll have to select a new abbot from amongst the brethren. The candidates are John and Nevlas. And if you ask me for my opinion...
Tell me something about...
Work, prayer, as if you didn't know. We serve God, and that...
What are the roles of the various monks here?
Someone takes care of the library, someone else the garden. But it's the circators you should worry about. They're the brothers who'll make sure we observe the rule. They can be quite strict, so if you want to avoid getting punished...
Who would you choose as the new abbot, if you could?
Why should I even think about that when I don't have the right to vote? Gregor, don't go poking your nose into other people's business.
I could do with a bite to eat.
Definitely gone downhill. I remember back when we ate like kings.
Those were the days.
This looks like the dregs after a night's drinking. Who could be coming here? I feel quite hungry.
Why such haste? Why such haste? Slow down, brother.
Peace be with you, brother.
Gregor, talk to me.
I'm looking for something a little, unorthodox.
And what would that be exactly?
I'm looking for lockpicks.
Lockpicks? And what would you like those for?
I'd like to practice opening locks, just for the fun of it.
Well, why not? So you heard I used to be a burglar, did you? I put it all behind me as soon as I took the vows. But I do have a few lockpicks left. I'll trade them for food. Get me a bite to eat, and you can have your lockpicks. Can't say fairer than that, can I? Talk to me.
Brother, I've a favour to ask.
I see, so it's the dodgy...
Well, yes.
That won't be easy, I can tell you that straight off. The prior always keeps...
Is there any other way to get out of here?
The door out of the monastery is like any other. Only the lock's more complicated than most. But I can sell you some lockpicks. And with a little training, you'll make short work of it.
How could I get hold of them?
With great difficulty.
Could you take the...
Rob the prior?
You wouldn't be doing...
Then what could you possibly pay me? I'm done with my thieving, and...
How much would you want?
A princely sum, brother. This is no...
That much? Where am I supposed to find that much?
Precisely. But no groschen, no theft.
You have some interesting skills for a monk.
What's there to tell? We were all young and foolish once. I was a student in Prague, completely broke, living from hand to mouth and studying all day. It wasn't...
So you turned to...
I set about securing a livelihood as best I could. A goose, some new shoes. Without that little bit extra, I'd never have completed my studies. I would have turned into a beggar. And who else do you know that...
No one, brother. Thank you for telling me. I found this piece of parchment. It looks like it's been ripped out of a book.
I've no idea. Why don't you ask Brother Librarian?
I'd like to ask... Who's in charge of things?
Abbot Peter is the administrator of the monastery, but you won't see him. He's always traveling, and on top of that, he's old and infirm. Perhaps...
And what happens when the old abbot dies?
Then we...
Are there any candidates to be the new abbot?
Yes, there are. Brothers John and Nevlas. Cursed elections. Since the brothers began talking about them, there's only... On one side are brothers who'd like to see John as abbot. On the other, those who support Nevlas.
Tell me about John.
John is a circator, and the oldest brother here. It would be only natural if he took the crosier from Peter. He has experience, merit, and composure. He'd lead the monastery wisely.
I'd like to know about Nevlas.
Nevlas manages the monastery's property. He doesn't have the most experience, but his drive and heart are pure. His faith, although perhaps he's too keen to change our...
Why does it matter so much who wins?
Because the future direction of the monastery hangs in the balance. The younger brothers feel they have to work more than their superior brothers. The older brothers take a different view. They say the younger monks want privilege.
I thought politics weren't part of the monastic way of life.
You're right. But we know nothing besides the monastery, and the abbot's decisions.
Are there ever any
Unfortunately, yes. The biggest quarrels.
Tell me something about
prayer, work, obedience.
Can you tell me something about the rule of St. Benedict?
7 centuries ago, Saint Benedict, the fundamental precepts are obedience, work, and prayer.
Do you never want to know what's going on out there?
And what should be going on? The sky is just as blue and the grass is just as green. Perhaps the rulers changed.
I'm interested in the...
It was founded by Saint Procopius 500 years ago. After his death, heretics occupied...
Heretics, you say?
They wanted to worship God with some foreign rituals, in a language foreign to God.
What are the roles of the various monks here?
Well, the abbot is the head, but he's not here now. Then there's the prior and the sub-prior, the librarian, the porter, and many others. As a novice, you should be particularly mindful of the circuitors. They're the ones...
What can you tell me about...
What can I say? You're here to demonstrate your devotion to God and live a monastic life.
I meant something specific about the brothers.
But you know them yourself? Yodok is an odd one, but he's diligent and eager. Perhaps too eager. Siskin is good company, but a bit too work. Antonius is hard-working and will help with anything, but prays less than he ought. Lucas is as quiet as a mouse.
Can you leave?
Where would you go? You have everything you need here. Anyway, all the doors here are...
Who would you like?
What kind of question is that? John, of course.
I'll have to get something to eat. I'm starting to get hungry.
In a wish to pray? Watch your step, brother.
Greetings, brother. I'm Gregor, and I...
Greetings to you, brother. I'm Yodok, the oldest of the novices. I hope you'll like it here in the monastery and that you won't.
Trouble?
You're young, perhaps intemperate. You might easily stray from the rules of the order. I suggest you get to know the older monks. You never know when it might come.
I'm interested in the other novices. Do you know anything about Antonius?
Only that he came to the monastery voluntarily, because he didn't want to work in his father's shop. Antonius is all right. You can rely on him. He won't betray your confidence. He's always happy to help, which is more than can be said for the other brothers.
Can you tell me something?
I would if there was anything noteworthy to say. But I'm just the ordinary son of a landowner, now a monk. There's nothing in my past, present.
Why did you join the monastery?
Because it was better than living in poverty. As the youngest son, I'm not entitled to inherit my father's estate, but he was kind enough to sell off some cattle. And you know what? I'm glad to be here. It's better than mucking out my...
Who would you vote for as...
Why do you care? We don't have the right to vote, so we shouldn't get mixed.
I'm just interested.
I like John better. But like I've said, it's not our place to get involved. It's enough that
I'd like to ask you... Who's in charge?
Truthfully, everyone except us. But officially Abbot Peter.
Are there...
Brothers John...
Listen, there's something I ought to tell you.
Ha! I knew it! He's a villain. Who are you, though? Oh, it's better not to ask.
Never mind that. Who's a villain?
That's Siskin. I always thought he was an odd one, the way he carries on.
What are you talking about? You clearly know something I don't.
I'm telling you, keep your eye on him. He's no monk. That's what my gut tells me. And my gut's never wrong. What are you going to do to that fellow once you find him?
I don't know yet.
You should talk to the Circators or the Prior about it, not act on your own.
I feel quite hungry.
That must have been Brother Circator. He can't sleep and
Praise be to our Lord Jesus.
My name's Gregor, and not...
You can call me Siskin. Now, are you here of your own free will, or is this a punishment?
Did you say purgatory?
You'll see soon enough. Soon enough.
Will you tell me something about yourself?
Look, nothing against you, but I prefer not to talk about my past.
Are you hiding something? Why are you so reluctant to tell me anything about yourself?
I'm hiding a lousy past that I'd rather forget. I hate to think of all I lost when they stuck me in here. And also because I really hate the question, aren't you the son of the famed Sir Smil Flashka of Pardubitz? I was rich and I had everything. But then my father began to feel his time approaching, so he decided to send a son to the monastery. And, being the youngest, the lot fell on me. I've no head for managing the estate, and they said I'd squander it. Can you imagine? Me in a monastery. So I took what coin I could from home with me.
But you didn't have to come here if you didn't want to.
Watch your step,
No,
brother.
not if I didn't mind being left to beg alms by the city gate. I had one choice, the monastery or nothing. If it had come to that after my father's death, so be it. But to get rid of me while he's still alive...
They must have realized you robbed them.
I donated some of the silver to the monastery when I came in, just to piss them off. I can just see my my siblings, arguing with the abbot to give it back.
And you stashed away the remainder?
Indeed so.
What's your plan with this treasure?
To get out of here as soon as I can. I'll wait another year or two until my hot-headed brothers cool off a bit, and then I'll take the silver and run off somewhere, far, far away from here.
That's all I want.
Please, keep...
I'm still curious about this treasure trove of yours.
It's no big, terrible secret. Really, it isn't. I just go and read during services. There's no time otherwise. I mean, at other times, I don't get to read what I like. And I keep it under the slab so the others don't find it.
I'll leave you be. Don't worry, I won't follow you again.
Thank you. And please, Gregor, don't mention it to anyone.
There's something I should tell you. Something you won't be happy to hear. I'm here to find someone and, well, to do away with him. But listen, it's not murder. Not when it's a man like him. He's one of the brigands who burned down Neuhof. He doesn't deserve to live.
What's he doing here? And who are you?
They call him Pious because he used to be a priest. When he found out a lot of people were after him, he hid away here. And as you can see, escaped suspicion. They sent me here to find him and bring him to justice. He's one of the novices.
So we have one outlaw and one assassin in our midst. This place is a lot more exciting than I expected. Do you know who it is?
Well, that's just it. No, but I hope I'll track him down soon. If you find any clue that could lead me to him...
I swear I don't know anything. Except that I'm not the one you're looking for.
I won't tell you more.
You're talking about killing in the monastery.
Would you do that? I have a feeling you wouldn't.
You're right. I'll keep it to myself. I've got problems enough of my own without involving myself in yours. And besides, I mean to be gone from here within a year, so why should I care what happens with the monastery?
Thank you, Siskin. I appreciate it. How is it that you don't get any penance?
I've paid off the circators to turn a blind eye. And the other monks don't notice as long as you show your face there from time to time. No one's too awake at that time of the morning.
I'd be interested to hear what you... Tell me about Antonius.
Oh, if there was a monk I'd recommend as a friend, with of course the exception of myself, it would be Antonius. He has a calm soul.
I'm interested in Yodok.
What could interest you about him? He's a no-good rat. He'll turn you in for the price of a turnip. I'd bet my life that if he wasn't here, he'd be a cumin scout, bowing and scraping.
That doesn't sound too flattering.
It wasn't meant to. No matter what you do here, watch out for him. He's got his eye on everyone, and he'll rat on you for even the
That's all. Who would you elect?
Most likely Nevlas. He's a fine fellow, and he seems honest. A monastery will still be a monastery, no matter who.
I'd like to ask you something. Who's in charge of things?
Truthfully, everyone.
I see. Well, that's all.
I'm telling you, someone's been creeping around the corridor at night.
Someone really reeked at matins.
You're right. It stunk like a wine barrel in there, and it's not the first time.
It's a mystery, but one that'll be soon solved. It's a wonder the prior doesn't check everything.
In a rush to pray?
I feel quite hungry. I'm Gregor, a novice.
I know.
And you are?
Lucas, also a novice. Don't get upset, but
I'd like to know something.
I don't know.
What can you tell me about?
Not a lot. I don't know him. Actually, I don't know much about him at all.
What can you tell me?
Not a...
You really don't know anything about anyone? Well, thanks anyway.
Don't get upset. I'm sorry I can't tell you more.
I'd like to know some...
I don't...
Do you know anything about...
I don't. He doesn't like me, and...
You really don't know...
Don't...
Will you tell me something about yourself?
There's nothing I can tell you.
I mean, where you're from, what sort of life you had before, that sort of thing.
I'm a novice, and my monastic name is Lucas. Nothing else matters.
Come on. Is there really nothing at all you can tell me?
I could, but I don't want to. I'm sorry. I want to stay focused on work and prayer, not on who I once was. I never will be again. What has been isn't important for us. We cast the past aside when we walked through the monastery gates and took our oath. Never forget that.
There's something I should tell you. Something secret. I'm looking for someone here in the monastery.
You're looking for someone? But you're a novice, aren't you?
I am a novice. At least until I find the man I'm looking for.
Why would you be looking amongst monks? You know, the laws of man aren't valid here. In the cloister, we're subject to divine law, the law of the church.
I'm looking for a footpad who's hiding out here in the monastery. He had a hand in raising the Neuhoff farm. He's taken many lives.
I heard something about that. But why are you telling me all this?
Because you could help me. It has to be one of the other novices.
That can't be. Have you told the prior? What are you going to do to this man once you find him?
Talk to him. Then I'll see. Do you have any idea which of the novices could be the imposter I'm looking for?
I don't know, and I don't care to know. I wish you'd never told me. Now I won't be able to sleep at night.
If you could.
But I can't vote, so what's the point of worrying? Ask Antonius.
I'd like to ask you... Well, that's all. I feel quite hungry. I feel quite hungry.
Servus, watch your step, brother.
Slow down. Then watch your step, brother.
Watch your step, brother.
Why such haste?
This is not a good time for questions.
I feel quite hungry. I could do with a bite to eat.
Slow down, brother.
Why
Slow down, brother.
What's your... Why such haste?
Why such haste?
Let him not love one more than another, unless it be one whom he finds better in good works or in obedience. And let him not shut his eyes to the faults of offenders, but, since he has the authority, let him cut out those faults by the roots as soon as they begin to appear. Remembering the fate of Heli, the priest of Silo. The well-disposed and those of good understanding, let him correct with verbal admonition the first and second time. But bold, hard, proud, and disobedient characters he should curb at the very beginning of their ill-doing by stripes and other bodily punishments, knowing that it is written, "The fool is not corrected with words." And again, beat your son with the rod, and you will deliver his soul from death. The rule of Saint Benedict, readings on humility. The first degree of humility is obedience without delay. This is the virtue of those who hold nothing dearer to them than Christ, who, because of the holy service they have professed, and the fear of hell, and the glory of life everlasting, as soon as anything has been ordered by the superior, receive it as a divine command, and cannot suffer any delay in executing it. But this very obedience will be acceptable to God and pleasing to men only if what is commanded is done without hesitation. Delay, lukewarmness, grumbling, or objection. For the obedience given to superiors is given to God. For if the disciple obeys with an ill will and murmurs, not necessarily with his lips, but simply in his heart, then even though he fulfills the command, yet
his work will not be acceptable to God, who sees that his heart is murmuring, and far from gaining a reward for such work as this, he will incur the punishment due to murmurers, unless he amend and make satisfaction. The rule of Saint Benedict. Readings on daily manual labor. Idleness is the enemy of the soul. Therefore, the brethren should be occupied at certain times in manual labor, and again at fixed hours in sacred reading. To that end, we think that the times for each may be prescribed as follows. From Easter until the calends of October. When they come out from prime in the morning, let them labor at whatever is necessary until about the 4th hour. And from the 4th hour until about the 6th, let them apply themselves to reading. After the 6th hour, having left the table, let them rest on their beds in perfect silence, or if anyone may perhaps want to read, let him read to himself in such a way as not to disturb anyone else. Let none be said rather early, at the middle of the 8th hour, and let them again do what work has to be done until vespers. Weak or sickly brethren should be assigned a task or craft of such a nature as to keep them from idleness, and at the same time not to overburden them or drive them away. Their weakness must be taken into consideration by the abbot. The rule of Saint Benedict. Readings on the abbot. Therefore, when anyone receives the name of abbot, he ought to govern his disciples with a twofold teaching. That is to say, he should show them all that is good and holy, by his deeds even more than by his words.
I'm Gregor and I'm new here.
I know. I saw you in the church during ceremony. I have the feeling we'll be meeting again soon, and often. You see, I'm the circator.
What does that mean?
I make sure everyone observes the rule, does their work, and that everything's the way it should be.
And when it's not the way it should be?
Then we're authorized to mete out punishment. But certainly you won't require correction, will you, brother?
I'd like to ask you something about the monastery. Who's in charge of things around here?
Abbot Peter is the administrator of the monastery, but you won't see him. He's always traveling, and on top of that, he's old and infirm. Perhaps the good Lord will bless him with many more years of life.
And what happens when the old abbot dies?
Then we elect a new one.
But bold, hard, proud, and disobedient characters he should curb at the very beginning of their ill-doing by stripes and other bodily punishments.
I'd like to ask,
the fool is not corrected with words.
Who would you like to be the new abbot?
Brother John, obviously. No one's interested in Nevlis and his new ideas.
What troubles you?
I'd like to ask you... I'd be interested... What can you tell me about Siskin?
That there's no man alive less suitable for the monastic life than him.
You don't know young Lord Capon.
I've heard things. Siskin must have been like him. Fighting, drinking, fornicating. But then he ended up in here.
Why is he in the monastery?
No one knows. Maybe he's hiding from something. Or maybe he's being punished.
Do you think he has a secret?
Don't we all? But unlike the others, he absolutely refuses to speak about his life before the monastery.
That's all I wanted. What about Yodok?
Be on good terms with him. If you show even the slightest hint you don't like him, he'll make your life hell. He's a slimy little pedant who'll rat you out to the superiors. Once he finishes his novitiate, I imagine he'll want to climb his way up the ladder to at least circator. He's a man who enjoys ordering others around.
I'm interested in Lucas.
No one knows much about him. He doesn't talk to anyone. He works, eats, sleeps, then does it all again the next day. It's as if he wanted to get it all over with as soon as possible. By it, I mean his entire life.
That's all. Thanks.
Talk to me, brother.
Will you tell me?
Look, nothing against you, but I prefer not.
Very well.
Thank you.
I'm still...
It's no big terrible secret. Really, it isn't. I just go and read during services. There's no time otherwise.
What kind of a book is it?
I found it here in the library. It was on a shelf where it should never have been. So I hid it to read later. Who knows what it means? I tried to count the syllables, read the word.
Oh, I'm not too sure what the prior or the cicada would say about a book like that. Actually...
prejudice. But you're right, it is prohibited. For no good reason, though.
You're right. Knowledge should...
Oh, I'm glad you agree. Just take a look at the book. Maybe you'll be able to make some sense of it. I haven't. Just please don't tell anyone about the book. If the brothers learn that I took it from the library...
I'll leave you...
Thank you.
I'll be... What can you tell me about Luke?
It's a tricky situation with Lucas. No one really knows anything about him. I've tried so...
That's all.
What troubles you?
I'm interested... What can you tell me about Siskin?
Oh, he's always got a smile and a new friend. But I reckon he don't belong in the monastery. He spends more time dreaming of the world out... I'm surprised he hasn't been thrown out already.
Sounds like you don't have...
I wouldn't trust him as far as I could throw him. Believe me, Gregor, he's hiding something from us. In fact, now I come to think of it, I haven't seen him at morning prayers for a while.
What can you tell me? I'm interested in Lucas.
Nobody knows much about Lucas. He keeps himself to himself. If you ask me, he's got something to hide.
Do you have any grounds for suspect?
Quite a lot. And also none at all. The circuitous who make the rounds despise him, and they... Pay more attention, brother.
Why such... What do you desire, Brother Gregor?
I'd like to ask you...
Pay more Why such haste?
Watch your step, brother.
What is it, brother?
I'd like to ask you something.
I'm looking for something.
And what?
I'm looking for lockpicks.
Lockpicks? And what would you like those for?
I'd like to practice.
Well, why not? So you heard I used to be a burglar, did you? I put it all behind me as soon as I took... I'll trade them for food. Get me a bite to eat, and you can have your lockpicks.
In a rush to pray?
Why
Such haste.
I'm Gregor, a novice.
I know. I saw you at the ceremony. My name is Nebulus, and I'm the provost here. I'm in charge of the monastery's property, as well as handling trade with the outside world.
That means you get to leave the monastery?
No, not at all. I just write lists and send them out.
Tell me about yourself.
I'm the provost of this monastery. It's my job to ensure the monks live a humble life and that any surpluses go to the poor. But in reality, I spend all my time making sure my brother's gluttony and the construction of a new church don't swallow...
Is there any way I could help you get elected? Somehow tip the scales in your favour?
What would you like to do? Climb up the tower and shout, "Vote for Nebulus, vote for Nebulus"?
Not exactly. You do have an opponent, John.
John isn't my opponent, he's my brother. Just like you and everyone else here. We're all brothers in Christ. But there is something you could help me with. You must know there's a great deal of iniquity here in the monastery. I'd be interested to...
Should I find out for you what's going on around here?
Let me make this clear. I want to base my candidacy on putting things in order. But if I don't know exactly what's...
Very good then.
Thank you, brother.
I'm interested in...
You're not alone. Everyone's so worked up about that.
Why? What's wrong with it now?
Many brothers think more about their stomachs than prayer. The older brethren bend...
What sins are you talking about?
The scripture says, "Let he who is without sin cast the first stone." I'm sorry, Gregor, it's not my place to speak about the sins of others.
Tell me something about how the new abbot will be elected.
A new abbot has to be elected once the old one dies. All the brethren can vote, with the exception of novices. The abbot's crozier will be conferred on whoever is chosen, and he'll take the vow. When he becomes abbot, a monk spends most of his time dealing with politics outside the monastery, instead of actual...
Can you tell me about Abbot Peter?
Peter's wise in the ways of politics and a good shepherd, but as you've already heard, he's old and infirm. The other brothers see him with one foot in the grave, but I still have hope for him. But you, brother, don't let yourself get involved in the games of your superiors. Could you...
With what?
I'm interested in medicine, and I know there's a cure for the abbot's ailment. With your help, I could find out the details, and together you and I...
You can count on my help. What...
In order to get the recipe for this medicament, a few rules will need to be broken. Now you know most of the brothers believe... I, however, think if God sent us not just illnesses, but also the medicine to cure them, the cure for Abbot Peter's illness could be contained in one of the books in our library. But it will certainly be amongst the Libri Prohibiti, the forbidden book.
Why are they forbidden?
Because they contain occult and demonic practices. It's nonsense, of course. This is nothing but a book of medicine, albeit one written by a pagan. Ibn Sina, also known as Avicenna, is universally acknowledged to be a wise man. But here, at some point, someone decided his book is the work of a Saracen devil and must be kept under lock and key.
Where can I find it?
In the library, there's a large cabinet with a lock on it. The forbidden books are inside. You'll easily recognize what you're looking for. But no one will notice if one book disappears. But if more were to vanish, someone would...
Is there anything you can tell me that...
There's a key to the cabinet in the prior's chambers. The librarian should have another one. Or you can acquire some lockpicks.
Why can't you do it yourself?
Because I'm one of the highest-ranking monks here, and one day I'd like to become abbot. Can you imagine me?
You could just ask for it.
Do you honestly think I haven't tried? Unfortunately, librarians...
I'm ready.
One more important thing. There's always someone in the library during the day. To pass unwatched, you'll need to go at... They say Brother Solarius understands locks. But don't tell him why you need it. Once you have the book, we'll soon have the election of the abbot over and done with.
What do you want me to find out?
I'd be interested to hear about any iniquity in the monastery.
Is there any...
What would you like?
Not exactly.
John? But there is...
That doesn't... I'd like to ask... I'm here to work.
Excellent. I've been waiting for you. There's the Today's task, 2 cockerel potions. Once you finish them, you'll find me somewhere nearby. Don't forget to let me know when you're done. What troubles you?
I've finished my work.
Show me what you've made. Spectacular, Gregor. You've found your talent. Soon enough, you'll be teaching the other novices.
What do you desire?
I found this piece of parchment.
It appears to be a...
Ovid? What is that?
Not what, but who? Ovid was a great Roman poet. We have a few volumes by him in the library, but one of them vanished one day. Now I believe I can guess what happened. Brother Eustace, if he'd had his way, all such books would have been burned. Ovid's The Art of Love must have been such a...
Oh, would you like me to put the book back together again?
Absolutely. Eustace's wits weren't the sharpest, so I'm sure he didn't destroy any of the pages. I imagine he hid them throughout the monastery. It might take you a while to find them all, but when you do, you can rest assured Ovid will...
Good. I'll look around for it.
Thank you, brother. It's of no great importance, but if you can find all 10...
Can you tell me something?
The Art of Love is a sort of manual instructing young people how to find and maintain love. It's a lovely...
Where should I look?
If I knew, I wouldn't have asked you to do it. The pages of the...
I've heard there are some forbidden...
That's correct. They're here, safely hidden...
What if I just wanted to take...
You could not. They are libri prohibiti, and the only people permitted access to them.
Not even if I were to beg? Or promise a favour in return?
If you could prove to me...
Could a book be prohibited by mistake? Maybe a good book or a useful one?
No errors are made. Every book on the prohibited list is there for a reason. Who am I to doubt the wisdom of Mother Church?
How does a book get on the forbidden list?
Forbidden works are full of heresy and blasphemy and witchcraft. If you ask me, we should burn them immediately, not archive.
I don't need to hear anything else. Is it possible?
Only the abbot and the prior.
And can I see them?
No. The abbot writes and keeps his records in his chambers, and only he and the prior...
I've heard about Avicenna's Book of Medicine.
Who told you about that?
I found it...
Wonderful.
I'd like to ask...
Why such haste?
The forbidden books must be in that cabinet.
You might be wrong, and besides, God will be our protector.
Slow down, brother.
Cupboard pieces help with materials. So you won't make it to the autumn.
Servus.
Pay more attention, brother.
Halt! Brother, what are you doing here? Shouldn't you be working somewhere? Idle.
I had other affairs that needed to be attended to immediately. It will never happen again.
Really? This time I'll look the other way, but...
I'd like to ask you something.
In a rush to pray?
Ave Maria.
Slow down, brother.
I've read one of the manuscripts copied by one.
Benedicta tu in mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tuae, Iesus.
More like infuriating. A horrible, abominable waste of parchment. Young people have no respect.
Then what's your stepbrother?
Don't even look at that cabinet. It contains forbidden books.
What troubles you?
I found a few
Wonderful.
Get away from that cabinet. The books stood in there aren't for your eyes to see.
What is it, brother?
What would you like?
I'm here to work.
Good. This is most likely the first time you've ever done this in your life. But here's the original, and here are the blank parchments on which you'll copy what you read in the original.
Well done, brother. No mistakes.
Service. What troubles you?
I'm looking for
luck. Well, why? So you heard. I'll trade them.
Can we do something about the problem?
Well, we could. This is a waste of time. Praise be to Christ.
I'm looking for something.
And what? I'll trade.
Brother, what are you doing here? Shouldn't you be working?
I definitely was there. I did come a little late, so perhaps no one noticed me.
Really? I'll pretend nothing happened.
About you and...
Ask me anything.
Tell me something about...
Nevertheless is weak and toothless. He's full of hot hair. How anyone could think he'd make a good abbot is beyond me.
I'd like to know what's going on here.
Well, the young brothers feel they don't have the same rights. Nevertheless is...
I'd like to help you.
I'm convinced Nevertheless must have done something that would greatly damage him if...
So, I should dig something up on him and...
Exactly. But I doubt you'll have any luck. Nevertheless is too cunning and careful.
Once I find... Thank you for answering. Nevertheless wanted me to steal a forbidden book from...
Really? Oh, this must be a dream.
What was that writer called? Avicenna. A pagan and a Mohammedan. He wanted to use it to help heal Abbot Peter.
What? That dirty louse thinks he can steal magic books and use them to curse good Christians?
I don't think it's really like that. It was a medicinal book, and Neverless had good intentions.
Brother, if the book is forbidden, there is a good reason for it. There's no excuse for reading them, let alone stealing them from where they've been safely hidden away. Nevertheless has committed... But listen, brother, for the time being, keep it to yourself. Now, you've helped me greatly, but I'll save it for when Nevertheless begins. The power of truth is greatest when...
As you wish.
I won't.
I'd like to ask...
Aha, Gregor.
I'm looking at...
Well, why? So you heard I used... I'll trade...
Let's talk about...
Pay more attention. Watch your step, brother.
Again, I've had enough of it.
I'm looking...
I'll...
Brother, what are you doing here?
I was feeling a bit queasy.
Really? Fine then. This time
I need to tell you...
Well.
He wanted me to steal a forbidden...
Ha ha! I knew it. A would-be...
He said he wanted to find a cure for the abbot in it.
Just keep that to yourself. Thank you.
What the hell are you doing?
That's more like it.
I'm amongst
I'd like it. All right, all right.
What are you doing here?
I'll be right back to that.
Vagabond.
What else you about? Got no business out here. One out, please. What else you about?
There. Satisfied?
God be with you. So, the sun's
Let's have a word about the... Here.
My word.
Brother, what are you doing here?
You're right, brother.
This is your first warning. Don't do...
you serious? Aren't you meant to be in the monastery, lad? What the hell are you doing?
Aren't you meant to be in the monastery?
God be with you.
Pay more attention, brother.
Watch your step. Watch your step, brother.
Pay more attention, brother.
Slow? Then watch your step, brother.
This is not a good time for... Watch your step. Pay more attention.
Not now, brother.
The Rule of Saint Benedict. Readings on daily manual labor. Idleness is the enemy of the soul. Therefore, the brethren should be occupied at certain times in manual labor, and again at fixed hours in sacred reading. To that end, we think that the times for each may be prescribed as follows. From Easter until the calends of October. When they come out from prime in the morning, let them labor.
Brother, where were you during Mass? Don't tell me you didn't know that Holy Mass is the foundation on which your life here is built.
You're right, brother.
This is your second warning. Do it again and you will be punished.
And let them again do what work has to be done until Vespers. Weak or sickly brethren should be assigned a task or craft of such a nature as to keep them from idleness and at the same time not to overburden them or drive them away with excessive toil. Their weakness must be taken into consideration by the abbot.
Ah, Gregor, talk to me.
Saint Benedict. Readings on humility. The first
I'd like to ask...
is obedience without delay. This is the virtue of those
Well, that's
who
all.
have nothing dearer to them than Christ, who, because of the holy service they have professed, and the fear of hell and the glory of life everlasting, as soon as
What is it,
has
brother?
been ordered by the superior, receive it as a divine command and cannot suffer any delay in
I've got the money.
But this very obedience
By
will
the
be
relics of
acceptable
Saint
to God,
Procopius,
because
where
it
did
is
you
meant
get all
only
that?
if what is commanded
And a
is
promise
done
is a
without
prom-
hesitation. Delay, lukewarmness.
There you go.
Come back in a couple of days. I won't manage
For
to
the
get...
obedience given to superiors is given to God. For if the disciple obeys with an ill will and murmurs, not necessarily
What is it, brother?
with his lips but simply in his heart, then even though he fulfills the command, yet his work will not be
I'd like to
acceptable
ask you something
God,
about...
who sees that his heart is murmuring, and far from gaining a
Are there ever
reward
any-
for such work
Unfortunately,
as this,
yes.
he will incur the punishment
I
due
understand.
to murmurers unless he amend and make satisfaction. The
Do you
rule
have
of
the key?
Saint Benedict.
What, you think it's that easy?
Yeah. Therefore, when anyone receives the name of abbot, he ought to govern his disciples with a twofold teaching. That is to say, he should show them all that is good and holy, by his deeds even more than by his words, expounding the Lord's commandments in words to the intelligent among his disciples, but demonstrating the divine precepts by his actions for those of harder hearts and ruder minds. The abbot should always remember what he is and what he is called.
You've got a strong constitution. Anyone else would have certainly died.
What happened?
Let me tell you a little story. Once upon a time, there was a young boy. But he wasn't truly bad, because when it came down to it, he ran away rather than keep. His former friends didn't take kindly to that, though, and wanted to punish him. The boy wasn't stupid, though, and he knew that the hound was coming. He poisoned some food, and when the hound showed up, he gave it to him. He didn't expect the beast to live, but it did. And all of a sudden, the boy was sorry for what he tried to do. So he offered to make a bargain with the hound.
I think I understand you. But the beast would need to know what deal he's being offered.
You know, we're both pawns in someone else's game. They have plans for us, but we don't have to let them use us. We can just forget all about it and go our own way. I was a bandit, and I was at Nyhoff. I've robbed and stolen, but I swear to God I've never in my life slain innocent people. What I saw at Nyhoff made me realize my life was worth shit, but I still had a chance to change for the better. Here in the monastery I've had plenty of time to think things over, but then you showed up and fucked it all up.
So the evildoer changes his ways and finds God. What exactly are you proposing?
Both of us can leave this place. You can go back to your people, and I can go somewhere where I can live out my life in peace and no one will try to kill me. If we work together, we can both get what we want.
What if I wanted a different option?
You could kill another novice, I suppose. If news of the murder got out from the monastery, my former friends might believe I'm dead. But I'm offering you a solution that doesn't require any killing. Before we make a run for it, we'll make it look like someone's killed me. Loads of blood, a tattered scrap of my habit, and footprints leading towards the river. No one will bother looking for my body there. There we'll split up. You go for your bounty, and I'll get as far away from here as I can.
Good. Let's do it your way.
Good. I'm glad that despite our initial discord, we could reach an agreement. Here, take something to calm your stomach. Now we'll need the keys to the monastery.
What do I need the keys?
How else will we get out? This place is practically a...
Getting the keys won't be easy.
I know, but Brother Salarius is a reformed thief. I'll bet he still has a few lockpicks lying about. Or there's the hard way. Steal the keys from the...
They both sound hard to me. What are you going to do?
I need to get ready for a long journey. Prepare supplies, get some normal clothing somehow. That sort of thing. You can escape in that habit, but I need to vanish as fast as I...
And where am I supposed to get my hands on blood?
You'll find a parchment in the kitchen with a list of ingredients on it. All the things they're ordering. Add blood for making soup to the list. And when it's delivered the next day, take it before anyone...
All right.
Excellent. Come and see me once you have And Gregor...
That would sound more sincere if you hadn't just tried to kill me.
That's why I'm thanking you. For being so reasonable despite what I did. For what it's worth...
Slow down, brother.
And the fear of hell and the glory of life
Peace be
everlasting.
with you, brother.
As soon as anything has been ordered by the Superior,
In a rush to pray?
receive it as a divine command and cannot suffer any delay in executing it. But this very obedience will be acceptable to God and pleasing to men only if what is commanded is done without hesitation. Delay, lukewarmness, grumbling, or objection. For the obedience given to superiors is given to God. For if the disciple obeys with an ill will and murmurs, not necessarily with his lips, but simply in his
Salve
heart,
Domino.
then even though he fulfills the command, yet his work will not be acceptable to God, who sees that his heart is murmuring, and far from gaining a reward for such work as
What
this,
would you like?
he will incur the punishment due to murmurers, unless he amend and make satisfaction.
I've heard that
Do you have the key?
has been keeping
What,
false
you think
accounting
it's that
records.
easy?
Nonsense.
I need more
Why
time.
would you do that?
Come back
What
tomorrow.
good is silver to a monk?
I don't know. But a barrel's missing from the cellar, and most likely he's to blame.
your step, brother.
Abbot Peter's health is deteriorating. They say he won't make it to the autumn.
No, Peter has a strong constitution. He'll still be on this earth for many years to come.
I wish all good health upon him. I want change, and only a new abbot can bring that.
Waiting pays off. There's no hurry.
They say Provost Nevlas has stolen books of magic from the library. Can you believe that?
If you weren't the second person to tell me today, I certainly wouldn't.
I don't know what to make of it. Nevlas and witchcraft.
Slow down. Pay more attention, brother. Watch your step, brother.
You've seen us drinking here, so either join in or swear you won't tell a soul. You won't want to end up like Lucas now, would you?
All right. I wouldn't mind some wine.
That's more like it. Sit down and have a drink, my lad. Quite right, brother. Just sit down and drink with us. When the wine runs out, Yorick will fetch more.
What would you like?
What are you doing here?
What does it look like?
But we're all...
Youngster, when you're as old as I...
But you're the cicators. You're the ones meant to be keeping order here. How can gambling and drinking be a fitting part of a monk's life?
Well, if you really want to know, see for yourself.
All right. Have it your way.
Ah, down the hatch.
Every gulp a treat, isn't that the truth?
No wonder. What would you like?
You mentioned Yodok. What does he do for you?
Nothing much. He's just a little suckling like you. He'll do whatever it takes to stay on our good side. Sometimes we make use of him when there are errands to run.
Where'd you get the wine from? I thought the monastery cellars were guarded.
So they are, but this wine isn't from the monastery. Listen, lad, would you help us out with something? This cask is almost empty, and we need a new one. We're a bit old for such exertions. But you, on the other hand...
I'll help you.
Ha! I knew it. Help Novice Yodok arrange for a new cask. Talk to him first thing in the morning, and by tomorrow night the...
All right, I'll talk... Let's drink.
That's the idea. And what should we drink to?
How about to the abbot?
To the abbot it is. But wait a minute, lad. Which one?
To Peter.
So, to Peter. He's done so much for us. But he...
Let's play.
Just the man we've been waiting...
What's there left to drink to?
To our fresh young novices, our swift steeds, and our boundless cellars.
You and your novices, you old pervert. A toast to our future abbot.
I'll drink to that. So, to John, the future abbot, and a pox on Nevlus.
And Killjoy? He'd love to have us all under his thumb. Fat chance.
Don't worry. Those youngsters will wise up once they hear all about him.
Will they believe it?
Even if just 2 or 3 of them do, it'll help us. So, to Abbot John.
To Abbot John.
What troubles you?
Servus. Praise be to Christ.
About...
Ask me anything.
I'd like to help you.
I'm convinced Nevlus must have done something that would greatly damage him if everyone found out.
So, I should dig something up on?
Exactly. But I doubt you'll have any luck. Nevlus is too...
I'm sorry, but that...
He who aids a sinner sins himself. I shall pray for your soul.
Thank you for that.
I'll say one thing, brother. It's the Pope's table.
I'm not so sure. It's a bit sour.
What troubles you? I'll say one thing, brother. This wine would grace the Pope's table.
I'm not so sure. It's a bit sour. God knows what's in it.
Don't be absurd. It's a first-class cask, direct from Znojmo.
No, I know the taste of a good vintage and... No, it isn't. It's sour. No matter. Get more soon.
Talk to me, brother.
I'd like to...
It's no big, terrible secret. Really, it isn't.
What kind of...
I found it here in the library. It was on a shelf where it shouldn't... It's the Necronomicon. Ghosts, demons, and invocations of powers beyond our world. Only it's rich that I can't really make... Who knows what it means? I tried to count the syllables.
Oh. I'm not too sure what the Prior or the Cicada would say about a book like that.
Ah, prejudice. But you're right.
You're right.
Oh, I'm glad you agree. Just take a look at the book. Just please don't tell anyone about the book. If the brothers learn that I took it from the library and hid it, I'll be in a lot of trouble. Thank you.
What are you doing here?
What are you doing here?
Well, probably the same as you. I want to be able to read in peace and...
What exactly do you...
Well, I'd be interested to find the unofficial biography of Saint Procopius, but there probably is no such thing. To be honest, I was expecting... But if that locked cabinet there with all the forbidden books was open... Until recently it was still unlocked, but after something vanished, they've kept it locked.
Maybe I could get in...
Oh, that would be wonderful. I'd love to pore over some of those tomes. We'd be in it together. Why such hate? Watch your step, brother. The treasures of forbidden learning in my reach. What would you like? What would you like?
In the middle of...
How marvellous! Did you join in? More important...
Siskin? I thought it wasn't allowed.
If the cicadas can, we all...
That's not how it works, though.
I know. A double standard. Thank you. And not wandering about like a ghost.
What have we here?
Peace be with you, brother. What would you like?
Ah, Gregor.
I was talking last night with the brother Cicators.
Well...
I'd like to help you.
Would you really do it? To get hold of the wine, we'll have to leave the monastery for a bit. I know it's forbidden. If wine started going missing here, someone would notice. But to leave the monastery, we need the keys.
Wait a moment. Are you saying I'm supposed to steal the
You see why I don't want to do it myself now, do you? I don't have what it takes.
But you've done it once before, haven't you?
Last time the prior was sick, and he left the monastery keys in the Circator's care. So they unlocked...
How can I get...
I don't know, but it might be possible to do this without them. Brother Celerius...
Do you think he'll want to take part in...
No, but he could give some advice, or maybe get some lockpicks to open the gate. Once you have the key or some lockpicks...
About those...
Did you get...
Yes?
In that case, come before midnight to the cloister garden. I'll be waiting for you there.
Slow down, brother.
Why such haste?
Slow down, brother.
Pay more attention,
Why
brother.
such haste?
Slow down, brother.
Why such hate? Pay more attention, brother.
Get away from that cabinet. The books stood in there aren't for your eyes to see.
As you let them do not.
Why such haste? Brother, you were somewhere you shouldn't have been. Don't you know your place? Don't you know where you're permitted to enter and where your presence is forbidden?
Very well, brother.
I still need to look through your pocket. You have a weapon. Here in the monastery. I don't care where you got it or why. You failed to complete your trial period as a novice. You are hereby banished from the Order of St. Ben.